Matrix at 7. So there's a lot that Illicit can do to counter that kind of dive.
Well, fight screen ready to go yet again, leading the charge here as these teams get ready to square off on Nepal. Both of these teams with budding fan bases. Going to be growing steadily throughout the season as these guys pick up more and more wins. Yet again, Shrine will start us off with a nice little shout out to Mayhem, it would seem.
Sia on the Diva today. And
some NY as well. Pop up there with the spray.
Yeah.
You know, I'm from around the Philadelphia area, Wolf, and I was watching that series today, and I just knew that very much like in reality, New York is just better than Philadelphia, so NY Excelsior able to come out on top.
No arguments for me. I mean, I like the cheesesteak, but that's all you're going to get. Illicit going to start things off, just poking here. Again, knows the defensive style, not looking for backline picks, just slowly farming with his teammates. But the better trade here for Nice as they do get the Reaper onto the point. That's the goal, that's the toughest part of these Reaper compositions, is getting onto the point itself. If you can do that, you're going to have a great time.
He'll be firing away, but already Illicit's going to have the fast track here for that EMP, nearly at 60% as Rio is just zapping away at the front line. In all the confusion, Bellum has managed to get the cap off, and already we're going to see a coalescence up from AimGod rapidly built up, and now CCJ can just push forward here with his Reaper and start taking names. We'll go ahead, rip apart the roster of BlossoM as they get shoved all the way back into the dropship.
This is a big problem. The Reaper empowered by this coalescence. Sure, BlossoM has the advantage that they held theirs, but when you get a Reaper on the point and you build that coalescence because you're able to escort so carefully, the Reaper is going to basically be invulnerable effectively because he also has his own lifesteal on top of that to burst through. They have an ult advantage in total at the moment, and it's going to be tough for BlossoM to find a way in. The EMP might be their opening.
Wilson going to jump back here for the moment though, waiting for that next translocator perhaps, but no, he's going to get interrupted here first as Nice throats down his EMP. CJ has been picked off by Insane with that pulse bomb, however. So a breath of fresh air for them, but he'll be rejoining the squad shortly as they try to hold out in the meantime. AimGod going down, Insane firing away. Sound barrier will come through here from Chara, hitting most of the members on the side of Bellum, but not keeping them in the fight. As soon will get popped out of that mech and likely taken down very rapidly in that Baby Diva form. For now, will be safe. CCJ goes in the Wraith, looks for an opportunity to pop the Death Blossom, but can't quite find an angle yet.
Yeah, he's got a good angle, but he doesn't have enough support. He might just drop it if he can get in the middle. Here it comes. D-Matrix to shield him. Great job by him.
He just gets focus fired, and everybody takes him out, and he can't get a single kill with that ultimate. Sia now trying to stay alive. Big deny there on damage with the defense matrix. Dashes forward, helps take down Rio. He's even got that self-destruct in case they need to buy some more space. Doesn't have to use it, but really good hold by Bellum, building up to 87%.
I can't even be mad about that. Death Blossom not really doing what they wanted because it was well executed. Hoon was on top of him with the D-Matrix from behind to mitigate the damage. He did a lot there. They regained control point for just a second, only really using that one big ultimate. And they built up to 87%. It's going to be much easier for them to grab this first point because they have this large control meter advantage. And sometimes you got to trade ultimates like that that are easy to build. We'll see if AimGod is going to be the one who allows him to build it again.
Goes low, Swoon barely stays alive with the help of that sound barrier out from the Tory, keeping him in the fight in the meantime. Nice just firing away. They get rid of Mineral at the end, and all the healers are gone for the side of BlossoM. And Swoon, he has a coalescence ready to go. This could just be a flip here for Bellum, and one that BlossoM might not recover from. Because again, they'll be starting off at 87%. Sia tries to delay a little bit, but he'll get popped out very swiftly by this Reaper, who nearly has another Death Blossom ready to go. The flip comes through. And Bellum, they're looking really good to start things off here.
Both times, it was just a coalescence to get CCJ on the point and get him everything he wanted. The tank burst, the second Death Blossom. That's why I can't really criticize him not getting kills on the last one, because it did so well for them. Coalescence now used here for BlossoM, but Bellum has the answering sound barrier. Better patiently timed. Here comes the BlossoM.
Zara pops that one. CCJ a little ways away from actually capitalizing with some kills there off that Death Blossom, and they get the pop out there onto Sia. And that is still going to be doing quite a bit of damage here for BlossoM as they continue to get picked off. Insane going down to Coalescence. Mineral dying. As Nice picks up two. Notori is out of the fight. There's just no way for BlossoM to tag in. They get 47%, but that's it.
These Reaper plays that we're seeing on Nepal are the dominant strategy right now, and every time we're seeing different approaches to how they can make it happen, whether it's to use your Moira to empower the Winston to give him space to get him onto the point, or if it's to build Coalescence early and then commit Coalescence to force the Reaper onto the point. It was the latter there for Bellum. Got CCJ on the point, that's the hardest part. They traded well. They used their ultimates liberally, but patiently with the support ultimates. And now, you know, they've got this first point. They dominated with this strategy. It's really cool to see, very crisp execution. But now we're gonna see Insane make that switch over to the McCree, the Junkrat here as well. So it's this shield the McCree comp, but he's killed by right click.
Yeah, the McCree can't do a damn thing if he's gonna get taken out there right off the bat. CCJ goes forward, finds Swoon as well. Illicit is just gonna fall. Insane manages to trade one back, eliminating the enemy Tracer, but they've still been shoved back to the choke point here by the entryway over to the dropship. So yet again, Bellum will find a fast cap.
And it's a struggle the same way as it's tough to get Reaper onto the point. It's tough to get in a reset into position to shield the McCree. So I like the composition swap here. If you're actually stuck in your shuttle trying to head over to this point, you might as well just make the swap. You're never going to get McCree in a position against this coordinated of a dive when you're trying to go into a choke point. They have to switch over to the Sombra as well here to look for potential side picks here. They grab the point first. Nice, looking for an angle.
Yeah, Rio goes back over there. CCJ gets picked off by Insane, winning out the Tracer duel. He's in the back line. A lot of shots into Rio, who's dangerously low, but Nice has that Dragon Blade drawn out. The hack comes down, but he's still slicing like a madman. Gets the palm out onto Sia, manages to stay alive, and now is hunting down for that baby diva. Sia's gonna get taken out, and Bellum will yet again seemingly retain control over this point here for the moment. Both tanks went down, but it seems like the rest of the squad might be able to create enough distraction, keep BlossoM contained back by the choke for them to rejoin, and they'll just keep going upward now at 50%.
Yeah, Nice, just trying to build for that Dragon Blade. Aim got spamming here, got him a kill last time. You know, just might as well keep looking for potential picks here. Ooh, Insane has to recall first. This could be a problem. It's gonna certainly slow down their push if he doesn't actually have the ability to grab picks. Mineral stuck in the ceiling for a second there.
He's really giving CCJ a hard time. Self-destruct comes out. Nicely timed recall there from CCJ. Brings himself back in, puts the pulse bomb down to get the immediate pop out onto Sia and finish him off. But listen, he pops that EMP. Aim got it. Chara, Hood, CCJ. Nice, everybody. They just go down. Rio jumps back in, but it's just a leap to his death. BlossoM finally take control, but yet again, Bellum are able to take up a significant amount.
It's that peel illicit Sombra I'm talking about. They bait an engagement that looks like it's lost for BlossoM, but continue to fight, which looks suicidal. So Bellum commits to the fight. Don't use any ultimates. The Transcendence was used before, but they clump up in that room where they have an HP advantage. That's when illicit strikes with the EMP. Bellum completely hacked and fell for the trap. Just can't win that longer fight.
You take it down, but Bellum's not going to be waiting too long now, stepping to BlossoM, but Rio goes down first and foremost yet again with the primal rage, ready to go, but Nice is looking to make up for it, looking to make up for that lost time, but he can't really do much. Finds one kill onto the baby diva, but that's it. Mineral just zaps him to death. Troop now stuck here into the back room, uses that defense matrix as best as he can, but will barely escape with his life. Bellum yet again gets shoved back. They cannot get the flip, and BlossoM might be able to take Sanctum.
I did appreciate Rio like coming back with a real big hurry. That big shot that we got, though, he was not wasting any time. Meanwhile, over here, BlossoM just trying to build up for another defensive EMP because they have this positional advantage. They're going to look for another fight like that. That's why he's doing this translocator to harass. Grabs this hack here on a Nice.
Illicit looking to take him out, but does go ahead and jump back. Sia, in the meantime, get popped out of that mech, and they do manage to get rid of the enemy Genji in time. Tara goes ahead, finishes off that baby diva, and Insane gets a very nice recall to try to stay alive, but he is just surrounded by enemies. And CCJ sticking right behind him. A triple kill coming through for him here on this Tracer. Again, maybe the most impressive one that we've seen so far in Contenders Korea to start things off, at least from week 1, and he's still making a case for it here in week 2.
Looks like Illicit was trying to hide back there to buy some time to flip this at 98. He intentionally held the EMP because he wanted to look for a bigger re-engage to get the final flip. I don't think it ended up being the right choice, though. It was a disjointed decision because BlossoM committed every other ultimate they had at the same time. So Sure, he has an EMP to open up the fight, but they don't have any other tools to work with here. Nice going to make the swap to Soldier. He's going to be the opening target here.
Looking to target him out, but still has that EMP and doesn't really get much damage in, but Rio has been picked off in the meantime. So BlossoM are going to go in for the retake. CCJ losing out on that battle is insane. Pops off here with the Tracer, getting the kill, dashing forward, looking for Nice. Makes a bit of damage. Kites back here with the rest of his squad. That's going to be the flip, and nobody can tag in to trigger the overtime. And we will be going to our third round here on Nepal as BlossoM takes Sanctum.
It's a close call there for BlossoM, to say the least. A little bit of miscommunication on the ultimates there. But Illicit comes up big when they need him to at the end with that EMP, and obviously the kills that we saw on the Tracer or Insane were what really opened up the point. Regardless, very close point there. I think the plans were good. Like, BlossoM clearly comes into this map with a strategy of how they want to engage, how they want to counteract the movements here of Bellum to take these defensive engagements. But now that we're going back to the same type of point as Shrine with the Roadhog, Reaper, Reinhardt, they're running the same comp with the Sombra. I think this is going to have massive problems once the Reaper gets on the point. As you can see, they don't have as many tanks for Reaper to capitalize on, sure, but they're going to be outclassed in terms of healing on this point once it opens up.
Well, Mineral's going to go forward, gets that orb out from Soon to help keep him alive. It's Nice is just fishing for a hook. First cap seemingly coming through here for Bellum yet again. No way really for BlossoM to step in. Nice throws it out, doesn't find anything but Elizabeth is taken down by Chara in the meantime. So good shutdown pick to come through that's going to delay that EMP very significantly. Bellum can start ticking up, and they're even going to push forward.
Look at the ult charge for Chara versus Dotori because of the quad tank comp or triple tank composition. They're just able to heal so much more in this area, which means they're going to have a support ult advantage, making it tougher to use this dive for
Nice hook comes through, Mineral dragged into the side. They can't finish him off, however. It's still going to be a good start. Pulse bomb out from Insane. Nice. Does take out Rio, so that shield in the front line not going to be available as BlossoM looks for the flip. Should be able to get it here. Perhaps they just need to keep them off this for just a couple more seconds, and we'll go over to them. And getting rid of CCJ is a great way to start that up. They get the flip, only 36% accrued from Bellum as they look to regroup.
Swoon had a great transcendence there to protect against the DPS coming through, and then they were able to parlay that into another great fight with the pulse bomb.
EMP dropping down, the dive comes through from BlossoM as Mineral leaps forward. No kills, but they do get the sound barrier out of Chara, which can give BlossoM an advantage in this next fight as they nearly have both support ults ready to go.
Yeah, that was a great trade for BlossoM. EMP way easier to build.
And God's using his Dotori, pops the sound barrier. Bellum's back in on top of the point. First center comes down, catches 3 members. But Swoon, he's got that Transcendence ready to go. He helps keep most of them alive. Insane will get punished in the end, but it could have been so much worse.
Oh my God.
For the side of BlossoM, Swoon playing the hero, can't get pinned by that charge as he's immune, but it seems like still Bellum are going to be coming out on top. CCJ is unhindered here, unthreatened on this Reaper.
What an
forward, rips them apart, and they get the cap back.
Hoon and Rio together make this happen. The self-destruct to open up the Reinhardt shield. Rio immediately capitalize on it. Can't defend both angles there. Then the very swift reaction from Swoon was also very impressive there, saving himself and his teammates. But with that setup, obviously CCJ gets better damage, gets on the point, they get the flip, but very impressive coordination with the Diva and the Shatter.
Now BlossoM pushing their way in halfway to that Capitalist. It comes and drops on the EMP, and Rio immediately dies, but they trade one back onto Mineral. Student finds the kill, but he gets popped out of the max. Sound barrier comes through here from Bellum, but they still try to stick to the fight. They try to maintain control. It seems like that's going to happen because the members of BlossoM are bailing out. They're getting out of dodge as we're nearly at 80% here from Bellum.
Illicit had a decent EMP angle, but they weren't able to, again, capitalize on the damage against this triple tank. Nice keeps really messing up the dive potential here for Dawson when the EMPs come through because he's able to get these hooks. actually not getting EMP'd most of the time, so he disrupts that. CCJ does damage, gets to the point. This time doesn't even need to use his Death Blossom.
Yeah, and Hoon also got the remake there out of the Baby Diva, so he's going to be fine. Death Blossom comes in, forces out. That ultimate from the Transcendence helps keep him alive, and now CCJ going to be exposed to the backside, has to reconnect with the rest of his squad. Another Earth Shatter ready to go. Rio going to be looking for the hit, but instead has to go ahead and protect from that self-destruct first. Now he can throw it down, but it doesn't really catch anything to Bubble, blocking him, but he gets a pin onto the Primal Raging Winston, and Mineral just getting focus fire down to the Fire Strike. Will claim his life. Aim God with the Coalescence, rips right through him, and Bellum will go ahead and claim our first map of Nepal.
Rio's really looking good on the Reinhardt tonight.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's actually been one of his Achilles' heels as a player for a long time. He was always more known for his Winston, even when it was a Reinhardt meta. He was flexing onto the Winston a few times back at Apex Challengers, and he's now really found a place in this composition with CCJ on the Reaper to do maximum damage, finding these Earth Shatters through these broken bubbles. First time, obviously, by the self-destruct there coming in from Hoon. But their ability to get this Reaper in there and do massive damage is so good. And when we're trading ultimates, I love that he went for the Death Blossom, because either he kills the Zenyatta, which means they probably win the fight and the Transcendence can't even happen, or he forces it, and then when the longer fight happens right afterwards, they're going to be missing that heal that's so important. The only way they can keep up in terms of hit points against 3 tanks with their 2-2-2 composition is if they have essentially unlimited hit points from the Transcendence. Doesn't happen that way because he baits it out with a good angle on that Death Blossom. Bellum looks fantastic, but Blossom showing signs of life. This series, I still feel, could go either way.
Yeah, this has been a back and forth start here on Control, which is a good sign for Blossom given how dominant Meta Athena actually was on that map type. So they do bounce back here against the sister team, but in the end do fall a bit short. Seems like we might have a player swap coming through there as Insane is packing up.
Look, he delivered, I think, you know, today he really did. Obviously the McCree didn't work out the way he wanted it to with the Orisa comp on Sanctum, but his Tracer showed up big after that, and that was one of the big reasons why they were able to make it happen. And now that we go to Hybrid, ANS can do a lot more with Widow than he could ever on Control.
Excuse me, it's Ons.
Oh,
but,
sorry. Ons, yeah.
No, I think that, I mean, one of the big things here for Insane on Nepal was basically, it seemed like they just kind of said, tail CCJ, keep him busy. Because when Insane was constantly behind CCJ and harassing him, Tracer v Tracer, we weren't seeing those moments from CCJ. As soon as Insane is gone, he's out of the picture, he gets picked up by somebody else, CCJ goes in and he gets a triple kill.
Yeah,
so
not only
I think that was
too,
basically
like,
his entire purpose, was just go in and focus fire down the enemy Tracer, keep distracted.
I think CCJ, because he's so focused on getting picks and he's so focused on doing consistent damage, that's a fantastic drawing, by the way. Because he's so focused on doing that damage, I think it's a little bit surprising for him to suddenly be challenged in the 1v1 Tracer by Insane, who's a bit off the rocker, off the standard when it comes to Tracer. So forcing those recalls out early means that even if that's all he gets, CCJ can't be as aggressive with the Tracer because he knows he doesn't have that panic button escape to get out of there and survive. So I feel like he delivered today on that first point, looked to be a solid Tracer, but also I think the main objective was the McCree. But BlossoM wants to play to their strengths now on Hybrid with the Widowmaker, with Ons. He showed it especially on Hollywood very well. That's the map they picked when they went up against Meta Athena as their Hybrid map, and it was a map we saw almost exclusively Widow out of Ons on the Streets phase. He's struggled through the old western area of the map when he couldn't get line of sight on his opponents that had high ground, but when they were able to take that away, he just lit up Meta Athena, kills after kills after kills. His nickname Ons, or formerly Ans until recently, comes from his nickname Ansan Sniper. He's from Ansan, which is a kind of a rural, well, I wouldn't say rural, but outskirts of Seoul City. There's some rural parts of Ansan, of course, on the edge of it. It's a very older town, and it's not part of Seoul. And it's just trying to make him fly. So, yeah, just to finish this point.
That's wonderful.
he's not from the big city, and I love to see stories like this from these young players. He's also a former streamer. That's where he got most of his notoriety. Coming to play offline like this, it's a cool storyline.
It's going to be Hollywood yet again. Map selection coming through from BlossoM. This is what we saw, as you were saying, when they faced off against Meta Athena. And this is also Meta Bellum's prime pick for hybrid, so not going to be picking them into an advantage necessarily, but just going for the maximum amount of comfort. We'll see what they can get done. We saw just there on Sanctum trying to go for the Orisa McCree setup. Can run that on point A on defense, so perhaps we'll see that pulled through by either of these squads. Saw it just last week, but it was some really odd positioning from the Orisa, playing down onto the point rather than upstairs in the cafe, and it was very easily punished. But some cleaner setup from that could lead to some very extended holds. So go ahead, remind you what you're watching. It's Overwatch Contenders, in case you forgot. Plenty of BlossoM fans here today as we get a look at Meta Bellum here. CCJ and his pet bird on his head, apparently.
Nice in that camera shot. He's 15 years old, a little bit too short for the camera.
We need to angle it down a little bit.
Yeah,
we still have it set up from our last match.
That's right.
Good day, mate.
Well, good day, mate. I heard that. That means we got a Junkrat composition on our hands. Achilios. Nice. We'll be running that here for theoretically Peel for CCJ against potential Dive, and Rio will also be moving away from the Reinhardt, obviously, on this map, but not to the Winston you would expect. Going to be doing Reinhardt, which is very difficult to kill with self-sustain, which means the heals can be focused onto CCJ and Neist, and also Hoon is going to be defense matrixing. And Rio can potentially, again, grab these Dive heroes. This is going to be the Sombra, though.
It's still just very bizarre to see Rio going for the Roadhog here without the Orisa to back it up, because normally you would see the halt from Orisa straight into the guaranteed hook angle. But they're trying something a bit different. This is much more unique compared to what we've been seeing as of late. But for now, BlossoM going to be wrapping around the backside. Alyssa going to come up top here onto the platform, tries to get the hack off in, just to find it there onto Rio, but he was already taking a breather. And now it's a sleep dart here onto Ans, and he will go ahead and say goodnight. Goes back to the respawn room, waiting, and Nice comes up with that first frag.
Well, pretty good showcasing of what you can do with this composition if you've got good sleep darts like Aim God does. Got his name for a reason. We're going to see Dotori set up here for the run back to get everyone set up.
But he's just going to get picked off at long range by those Helix rockets.
That was just him trying to be greedy and poke out and maybe do some damage to build Transcendence. Did not work out in this case. Gonna waste a lot of time. Dotori's like, okay, man, I gotta pick you up again. But
I can't leave the spawn.
I mean, CCJ's protection is really triple fold. They got Hoon on the Diva, they've got Rio for potential hooks, and also Neist for the concussive mines, not to mention, of course,
jumping forward, but look at that damage. Mineral just gets chunked down below half HP. Won't die yet, as Rio tries for a bit of a riskier hook there.
Look at how much damage CCJ can do when he's not really under duress. Mineral is going to go up there, but he comes down, which means Mineral's in the wrong place. Aim God maximizing the value of these bionic grenades in the choke.
And Abu's ready to go, and Hoon's going to get taken down here as Mineral pushes for Transcendence. Going to come through as they just charge into the cafe. The Riptire's only going to find one as Hans gets taken down. Rio's going to fall. Meta Bellum, as soon as they get collapsed on, this comp just falls apart. You can see Nice there, trying to answer a kill back, firing off towards Illicit, but can't finish him. And BlossoM, they're going to go ahead, they're going to get this cap, and they only had to use one ultimate, really, just the Transcendence, and now they go into streets with 4 strong.
They out-heal that area with the Transcendence where everyone was stacked up, and that's where...
Yep, that's the Widowmaker.
And this is why he's picked. It's Ans, man.
All right, he already messed up the grapple hook, so it's not looking too good.
But in that zone where, you know, Nice was able to do a lot of damage, Bionic Grenade was really good. They did a lot with it, but when it comes to the extra healing and when as I said, when the setup is gone, they can't do much. But this is where Ans looks to shine. This is why they picked this map. This is why they subbed him in.
He's just shooting right around them. They can't quite get the hits in. Could be an excellent knife thrower in the circus, but I'm not so sure about a sniper right now. But Rio does get taken down, so BlossoM will still be able to move forward relatively easily.
He did have the same problem against Meta Athena, but once he gets up onto the high ground, he's going to have a lot easier of a time. And in fact, got that kill onto Aim God even without it. Now that he's up here, it's going to be very difficult for Bellum to deal with this. Might even have to see a switch for CCJ after attack to their own Widow if they want to try to 1v1 this, but they're taking so much time to get back to the point. BlossoM's got such a great free push at the moment. Here's CCJ, he's going to be the potentially first target here.
Listen, wrapping around the back, doesn't have the EMP, but gets the hack off, and will actually just go ahead and pop Food out of the mech, and CCJ gets taken down as everyone just piles into the studio. Chara can't even escape. Come back comes through here from Alyssa. Food trying to delay as best as he can on the backside, but he's just going to get knocked out yet again. Last second contest probably available here for Bellum as they get ready to push forward. Sound barrier out from BlossoM. They want to win the fight, they want to get this cap, they want to have a hefty time bank as they move forward here into the studio, and it seems like it's going to work out just fine for them because Bellum cannot stand up against BlossoM here at the moment. Alyssa has not had to use this EMP, can save it here for the final push.
Yep, that's exactly what he wants to do. Staggered respawns here for Bellum is a huge problem too. I'm not entirely sure why Boom was going over here for a last minute contest. Definitely wasn't going to get there in time and got stuck. So huge advantage here in terms of the EMP with the the advantage that this has because Nice had to switch last minute off of the Soldier as well with CCJ dropping into the Tracer. Bellum just needs to regain composure here. Aim God's going to go ahead and toss out the Nano.
They get Swoon, and Ons is now fallen. CCJ building up for that pulse bomb. Will just be chasing Sia back into the respawn room, and Mineral seems like he'll make it out with his life there. Will get top up, so no big stagger punish there onto the Winston. Bellum do stabilize here for the moment, but they are just so far away from multiple ultimates here. Chara is still building up, but Aim God now at 0%. They really just have the Primal Rage and a Pulse Bomb on the way.
Interesting that Aim God makes the switch to the Zenyatta, given that Nice is also switching over to Genji, but it looks like they just want to have extra Discord potential to slow this down in its tracks against a very aggressive Mineral. Illicit here, looking for an EMP, but everyone at Bellum very well split. Rio, not really sure why he went in there.
Yeah, that was a really poor eco leap. He was already topped up with the Primal Rage, but that comes down and he can't pop that for himself. Now into the back is Illicit, firing away, trying to get the pop on the Food, but this time won't be able to find him, but they punish Chara, and they just keep rolling forward. Nice been taken out. He's so far away from the Dragon Blade, might not get the opportunity to use one. Rio goes back in, Primal Rage used in advance this time around, doesn't want to risk it. They will kill Mineral, but they need so much more than that. Nice pop in onto Sia, takes him out of the fight. Sound barrier out from Chara. Will buy Bellum some time. They can rely on the Transcendence here as they try to scoop up some escape kills from BlossoM. Won't be able to do it. Look how close this payload is, 1.5 meters away. With still 2 minutes left of the clock, BlossoM are still in a fantastic position.
Oh, they certainly are. Bellum just struggled so much when they couldn't actually regain control of the Streets phase, and now that we've passed that, now they've actually finally regained control of this map, it's a lot easier for them to set up for defense, and they're not tossing Hoon in, he's not dying every few seconds. However,
CCJ gets the stick. That's going to force out the Transcendence. Food immediately goes and joins the rest of the team up here on the card. Nice, looking for an angle with the Dragon Blade, but the Discord Orb comes through and he has the kites back. Stay out of sight up here on the high ground. Displacement comes in as Food tosses out that self-destruct, gets the pop here onto Sia. Swipe one, finds Illicit, swipe two, finds Tori. Now looking for a little bit more. The final one will take down Mineral. Bellum managed to hold strong.
That was one way to wipe the team faster here, but it was pretty expensive to use the Dragon Blade. You could tell Nice was up on that platform because he was hoping for the massive Dragon Blade that would have helped them save this point, but it wasn't necessary. He pulled it out after 3 were dead. He was trying to be the crouching Genji hidden Dragon Blade, but he totally telegraphed it, totally tossed it out at the end of that fight because he wanted to clean up the kills and stagger the respawns. Not going to have it for a last minute defense now though, so very expensive there and almost unnecessary.
Pulse Bomb takes Hoon out of the mech. Rio goes down, no tanks available here from Bellum. Tori pushes in that sound barrier. CCJ just managed to trade one back in front of the enemy Lucio, so Bellum still holding on, fighting tooth and nail, but it's still so very close. 4.43 meters rolling forward. Someone needs to tag in, but no one does. Rio, don't think he had the leap in time, didn't have the Primal Rage. And that is going to be a completion here on Hollywood for the side of BlossoM.
Yep. So not with the greatest time bank ever, because there were some really clutch moments there by CCJ at the end, as well as the one that opened up that final push where we saw the Dragon Blade come out to get those staggered respawns, and you know, slow down the attack, but this looks to be BlossoM's best map. They're obviously getting completion on it here after struggling against Bellum. I want to say that Bellum had a great plan on Nepal going into this map as well. They looked to have a decent setup, but the problem was that after they lost point A and on switched to the Widowmaker, they were never able to recover on the streets phase leading to point B. That was free time bank for BlossoM. They never regained control. Ons got the high ground for free, killed everybody. They had to hide. The soldier pick became worthless, even though he had attack visor. He couldn't even leave the spawn because he was being camped by the Widow. And it's, you know, it's a little bit worrisome for Bellum that when plans go awry, they don't have backup plans, doesn't feel like. And you would assume that they would have had a faster switch with CCJ back onto the Tracer, back into Tracer Genji against Ons. They needed to switch faster. They held on to try to use that attack visor. And this is just simply not going to cut it against BlossoM, who's so good at using this Widow. If you're not going to dive him, he's just going to kill everybody who's trying to outrange him with long-range hit scan, or outplay him, I should say, with long-range hit scan. So surprising that Bellum didn't research this and already realize that this would have been the go-to.
There it is. This is what we were talking about. The McCree with the Orisa coming through, but Sia going to be on that Roadhog. So those guaranteed hooks, if Mineral can hit the halt, snatch somebody up, drag him in.
There's a lot of ways.
Comes out.
There's a lot of ways you can also stay alive with Mineral with a Pocket Mercy because he has all that armor on the Orisa and also the damage boost potential there for both the Junk and the McCree. So it's going to be very difficult to break this. Bellum taking a slower poke approach, trying to use ultimates, it looks like, to break it. But CCJ gets taken out again by Swoon.
No fall.
Still not enough room to work with here, though.
Yeah, Bellum going to get shoved back as BlossoM pushes forward here. Illicit firing away. Looking for some hits with these bombs, but not going to be getting much.
So they need to be careful about stepping this far forward, but you can operate on the ground. We've seen it before on this map. I think it was WGS who was running this competition, World Game Star. If you take this aggressive a position, though, and the Tracer gets behind you, you can get disrupted and shut down really fast. They're going to actually just take the frontal approach, though, trying to get onto the high ground.
Yeah, the jump comes in, Hoos goes forward, the rockets come out, and Mineral just falls, but so does Rio. Illicit finishes him off. Sia's still going to be in the fight, has to be the front line here for the side of BlossoM, but getting in onto the point is just proving to be difficult as already one tick has gone over. Fire, however, out from Illicit, comes over the top of the wall, looking for a hit, will get the pop there onto Hoon, knocks him out on the sidelines, but Illicit gets punished in the backside there. By Nice, who went forward. 2 ticks now, and BlossoM still just hasn't been able to step in to stop this from ticking up.
Mercy res attempted here. Valkyrie
miss on the headshot.
Out.
Ons just coming up short, and now he's going to get punished, and that's just going to be the wipe coming through as BlossoM will have to surrender this point. In the end, Bellum, a decent little cap coming through. Not that much time drained away from them, and now they have just shy of 5 minutes to make it to the streets phase with a couple ultimates to boot.
I don't think we'll be seeing CCJ switch over to the Widow. In this case, that's an Ons special, but he is going to be switching to the Tracer. Illicit down to the Sombra. Ons had a Deadeye, but he wasn't willing to use it. He understands that you need to switch immediately, ultimate or no, or you're going to lose too much control of the high ground here. Bellum's already up here, already has it, but at least Ons now has the combat tools with this Tracer to help dive and re-control it that, you know, CCJ did not have on the Soldier previous.
Nice. Gonna go ahead, get some pop out there onto CM. Mineral's been taken down, so this payload should just keep on moving nice and smoothly here from Bellum as CCJ goes into the back. Trying to some nice little staggered kills, but they will be able to get Illicit in the end, so a decent pick off, delaying that EMP even further as Bellum keeps moving forward relatively unhindered.
They have a really massive ult advantage too, so you just want to make sure that they can stagger these together. Like Dragon Blade, don't pull it out early this time if you're Nice, but wait for a better opportunity to get real value out of it when you know your opponent only has one support ultimate. Valkyrie was used a long time ago.
Ons jumped on, comes up the top, looking for that shot there on Achara, but misses, gets a body hit in onto Ape God, but now the Lucio is just going straight into the face of the Widowmaker. We'll have to kite back as CCJ just fall. So Bellum going to be held at bay here for the moment, but already gained a pretty significant amount of distance here on the street space and still have 3 minutes left to go.
Look at how much trouble Ons has with the Widow when the dive is against him. When you've got a Genji here, it's a much tougher for him to just shoot pot shots and get free kills. He's got a good line of sight now, but he's always under threat. He's always under duress. Not the case earlier with CCJ on the Soldier. That comp there running with the Sombra just wasn't really threatening. You can see now he's already pushed off the high ground.
Go ahead and push in on top of the jail. Gets one shot there onto Aim God, but CCJ from the back does take him down. But Nace is going to be punished by that leap there from Mineral. CCJ looking to finish off Spoon. He's going to be low. One final melee hit. Will finish off that Zenyatta, and the cart is being brought up in the meantime. Mineral will pop the Primal Rage to buy some more time off that bank. Maybe even delay them, but ultimately I think they're going to have to let this one go. But he's sticking in the fight. They still have Sia there to back him up, and now he's got that self-destruct ready to go, so can buy some space around the payload, so they will be sticking into this one for the long haul. But look at all the ultimates available here to the side of Bellum. They're going to start investing them here as that pulse bomb comes through, but doesn't find anything, but they still manage to take down the Winston.
Yeah, this is the kind of ult efficiency I'm talking about here, one by one. Pulse comes through.
Out, Illicit hunting in for Aim God. Finishes him off. He doesn't pop the Transcendence. We'll just wait for the next fight, it would seem, but BlossoM keep chunking away steadily at this time bank on the side of Bellum. Self-destruct out there from Hoon just to get back into the mech. We'll buy him enough time. On's going to go down, but they trade it out for Nice. And Illicit will fall as well, so the DPS from the side of BlossoM have been eliminated. Chara's still going to use that sound barrier, rather.
Illicit doesn't get back to the point in time that he dies again.
Yeah, Notori taking out another one here. From Rio as he goes primal, just smacking around. Sia will be able to pop him out of the mech in the end. It seems like it should be a one fight by Bellum, but it's still going to be rather costly when it comes down to how much time is left in that bank. 2:45 to make it to this final stage as they go into the studio. 39 seconds remaining was the time for BlossoM. They certainly want to best that.
Yeah, 2 minutes basically to match it. Illicit really wanted to get on the point, but Rio shut him down. Really well played. Good targeting by Bellum to make sure that EMP couldn't go off. They know he has it. They want to bait it out early, force him to have to be more aggressive to look to build another one. That's basically what Sombra's going to do when you're Illicit, at least. The more passive playstyle, tough for him to build those, so each one is so expensive.
CCJ goes ahead, gets that stick, but it seems like, yes, Swoop's just going to go ahead and pop that Transcendence. Self-destruct in, tries to deny Sia with a remix. He tries to go into the corner, but CCJ just has the high ground advantage. Sorry, Anakin. He comes up with the win. Hoon knocked out of the mech, however, and Bellum haven't been making that much distance here with his payload. Rounding the corner as BlossoM does kite back, waiting for their Zenyatta to rejoin them. But BlossoM still has plenty of time to go in for some re-engagements. They have to build up for these ultimates. That's what they're lacking at the moment.
Well, Nice. You know, he's still holding onto this blade. They've been way more ult efficient than BlossoM has. They're running out of time if they want to make sure they do this before overtime. Illicit, ZMP didn't do as much as they would have liked.
Falls in, decent chunk onto Rio, but he manages to stay alive, and Hoon's going to get popped out of the mech all the same. Self-destruct thrown down just so he can get back in. He'll be able to do so safely. Bellum now going to be looking for a setup for the sound barrier. And Nice with that Dragon Blade. One comes through. Helps keep them in the fight. But Nice gets taken down. He can't use the ultimate. Rio pushing forward is just trying to get Notori out of the fight, but he manages to stay alive as Swoon goes ahead with yet again another Transcendence. Rio pops some Primal Rage, just tries to smack them all around, but really isn't getting that much work done. He needs support. He needs that Genji with the ultimate to help cut through the members of BlossoM, but they're just not going to find it here.
Yeah, Aim God's got a Transcendence to pair with it, trying to make this happen, but see if we can actually use it. Blade comes out, no Transcendence.
Notori, he's going to be taken out of the fight. Nice finds one. Wiping away there with the left click, stashes through, finds Sia yet again. It's a near wipe on the members of BlossoM. Mineral goes up, but he's not going to come back down alive. Soon tries to buy some time here with this Moira, but they're still rolling in. They should be able to get this completion. Yes, they do.
Just
Time still
seconds.
in the bank, yeah. But a close call there from the side of Bellum. Great delay by BlossoM. But
well, you know,
this is a close one.
There's holding ultimates and having ult efficiency, and then there's holding ultimates for too long. Nice had that Dragon Blade for about the time it could have taken him to probably build 2 or 3. And he finally used it there at the end without the Transcendence, because this team is so much about saving ultimates, about having great ult efficiency to maintain that old eco lead. But he won the point with the Dragon Blade, was able to get those kills, but I do want to exercise, you know, caution here about thinking that that was the perfect, correct play to hold the Transcendence. Had he died when he had 20 health left with his first swing, he would have, they might have actually not been able to complete the point and not been able to, you know, potentially win this map, because we're going into extra rounds now. So I appreciate the ult efficiency and how much they're saving, but that was very risky. Luckily, Nice, the god he is on the Genji, makes it happen either way. Very risky play there, very risky call, pays off. We're going back to Nice on the Zarya. We saw this on Dorado in the match against Meta
Quad
Athena.
tank.
It worked very well there. And we're going to have the Hanzo to push through. It looks like no, it's just
They're looking for that initial pick-off to try to get somebody out of the fight, but it will be Quad Tank, the Lucio, and the Moira. That would be absolute insanity. We had Hanzo, Widow to push in onto the point, but they're just going to go ahead, charge forward. Shields coming through here from Nice to get that energy built up. Jang going to be looking for some hooks. Alt drags them in. There's no Roadhog on the side of BlossoM, so they can't isolate one member. Aim God is going to be spamming out here with the left click. A little bit of energy back there off the right onto Illicit, who's up onto the high ground. He's going to go down. Hoon manages to take him out. A big orb up onto the top side there as BlossoM is just completely pushed off the point. 2 ticks already coming through from Bellum as they try to jump in here to contest, but they're just getting ripped apart.
Yeah, they just really are out-sustaining with this Moira that's got a coalescence. They don't even want to use it. It's that old efficiency, man. Again, they're not going to use it unless they have
eliminated. Deadeye finds Nice, so decent little trade back here from Ons. But Aim God, he's got the coalescence, trying to keep everybody alive into the fight. Sound barrier out of here from Chara. Sia brought back in with the rest from Katori. God still paranoid, spraying out, just trying to keep CCJ topped up, but it's just not going to be enough. Sia takes him down the pulse bomb, finds Chara. 2 ticks come through, but BlossoM seems like they have the fight that they want. It seems like they're going to be able to command the rest of this game. Rio dead to the flashbang, Deadeye yet again, the second time in the fight for Ons. Knows that they maintained the hold, but 2 ticks still go over to the side of Meta.
Achilles, that was, I think, a huge win with these time banks being just over a minute right now for both of these teams to instantly get 2 ticks and nearly get more. It was actually Ons who was the hero, who was able to get those shots through with the Orisa halts. When you run the quad tank and you're just fighting on the point like that, Moira's going to build a coalescence in like 2 seconds. You're going to have the sustained fight against less tanks on the other side, where the McCree, being the damage, just can't break through the Moira healing. But when you have Halt, at the end of those last fights, the Halts were hitting 4 or 5 members, yanking everybody, just pulling them out of the fight and allowing McCree to do more damage there. And obviously, Orisa has an unlimited clip. It's nerfed even, still pretty much just going to shoot forever. So they do break through when the Halts were good. They stopped that point from coming through. Good Deadeye from Ons. But this team, the team that's now on attack, BlossoM, they're not good at running a quad tank comp. They're not good at forcing this in. With a minute 12, I think they will absolutely struggle to match the double ticks. And that's why this comp, it's kind of a one-off. You get on the point, you surprise the enemy team. They think you're going to play standard, you're going to play the dive. So they run the Orisa again. You get tricked. And now they're going to just run.
This is going to be super risky. They're playing very far forward here with this Genji. Ons just going to swap over to the Tracer. The Sonic Arrow actually spots out the Winston, I do believe. So I think BlossoM knows that they're playing around the corner, so they might be well prepared for this defense matrix to come in as they peek.
Definitely know.
They're going to charge forward, looking for some kills. They find one there on Swoon, nearly dead. So very low, but they trade back for Chara. A huge little trade there. And Bellum could be punished for this one. Nice goes down. Swoon comes up with the kill.
This could be so huge. Okay, Rio is going to have to buy so much time.
He's around the back. He's expecting them to come in from the flank, but they're just charging straight in through the front. Already ticking up, looking for the first one. Somebody has to get onto the point to contest this. They pile in. Swoon goes down as Rio joins the fight, but he's going to pay the ultimate price with his life. CCJ dead. Girl goes down and aims out, finds one, but he can't stand onto the point. He's just going to be the Zenyatta. Big hit there onto Ons, but he manages to stay alive with the recall. Sia still in the mech, now going to get popped out. And it's all on Hoon at the moment, buying time for Rio to rejoin the fight. BlossoM held at bay, getting ready to go into overtime. They have the 1 tick, they need a second. Pulse bomb out from Ons, gets the pop there. Hoon out of the mech, should be taken down, but the hack is in onto this Tracer, but he just turns around, takes out CCJ. Chara going down. Ingod with the Transcendence needs it desperately to buy more time, but he's not there. That is just going to be the punish. That is just going to be the map going over to BlossoM. They'll go ahead, take this out. Fantastically played. They'll tie it up 1-1 on Hollywood.
Achilios, the term risk and reward is the one that normally you hear thrown around when people discuss risk in strategy, but sometimes there are risks with consequences. And trying that forward attack there to try to get a team wipe once, to then fight on the point where they had to fight in overtime and win that longer battle there against the respawns coming through, possibly desynced respawns with the picks, was a risky plan that was potentially doomed for success. I say doomed for success because you either get that wipe that you're looking for, then control and burn that time, or you get wiped, you have the longer run back to get to the point A, and your opponent gets a full cap. Given they already had 2 ticks, I feel like this was not the correct play. It was greedy, it was sneaky, and it totally fell flat on its face. A map they worked so hard for, the cool strategy they showed us on their attack there in the extra rounds, really cool stuff, but I think with this greedy tactic, they threw the entire map away.
Yeah, it was really high risk, high reward. It's very much like when we see the Torbjorns come through on maps like Nimbani in those overtime rounds. If it doesn't work, if you don't repel that first push, then it's probably just gonna crumble. So nice going down with that Genji very early on. Costs them dearly, can't even remotely build up for that Dragon Blade rapidly enough. And it was just that MVP Sonic Arrow coming out from the Hanzo.
That was so
spotting
important.
the Winston through the wall that just allowed for BlossoM to identify exactly what Bellum was up to. And they just swept them under the rug from there. So very nicely done, but we're tied up 1-1. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have a salt for you guys and see who takes the lead in this series.